Opioid overdose and deaths continue to be a major problem in America. This past August, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration put out a warning regarding rainbow fentanyl, which, due to its colorful presentation, could appeal to young individuals. Though the head of the DEA clearly said that there was no indication of a real threat for Halloween, some politicians and news pundits spread rumors that this would be a major problem this Halloween, something that parents should be very worried about and should be on high alert when sending their kids out for trick-or-treating. Now that Halloween is past, what actually happened? Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, it's Dr. David. So most of us have heard about the ongoing dangers of the opioid crisis in our country and how many lives that this has taken or destroyed. Society is recognizing that opioid addiction is a serious medical issue that needs to be treated properly. And incarceration does not seem to be the answer in turning this around. Now, fentanyl is a synthetic opioid. It is 50 times stronger than heroin, 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine. Over 100,000 people have died in America just from fentanyl overdoses between April 2020 and April 2021. Now, often this happens from fentanyl being laced in and mixed into other illicit drugs like cocaine and heroin. Now, the DOJ, Department of Justice, has reported that over 36 million lethal doses of fentanyl have been found and seized by law enforcement around the country just between May and September. This is a very serious problem. Now, a rumor had been going around starting around September, October, that Mexican drug cartels were moving rainbow fentanyl across the U.S. border to appeal to children. Yet drug policy experts said repeatedly that there was no indication that the cartels were actually targeting children. Sometimes cartels would hide the drugs in candy packaging, etc., in order to try to fool the DEA and law enforcement. But they never found that it was actually put in there to try to give it to the children themselves. Drug experts, policy experts, have deemed this to be a bogus claim. Now, many politicians, and a lot of them on the political right, were on the political right, took to the airways to spread alarming rumors that rainbow fentanyl was a major concern. Parents had to be warned about this. This was going to be a major problem. Be concerned about your child going out for trick-or-treating. And despite that, again, recognizing these claims are bogus, but a lot of people, we heard the Florida Attorney General said something. We've seen House of Representatives said it. We've seen the GOP Senate committee senators actually put out a video warning specifically about the rainbow fentanyl and Halloween. And again, not to say that fentanyl is not a problem, but this was specifically relative to Halloween. But this is a bipartisan thing. Democrat leader Chuck Schumer alluded to the same thing when he was arguing for funding in order to help fight the opioid crisis overall. He also brought up the concern about Halloween and children's candy. So this is not simply a one side or the other. Both sides are actually using this kind of for political gain and fear mongering, and that's kind of what I have a problem with. Neither side should be doing this. Nobody should be doing this. We should just be presenting the facts, and then we should be dealing with those facts. Okay, now Halloween is now over. We're past a week. What's actually happened? Now, I did some research into this, and I did an extensive search to see if there were any reports whatsoever about children getting fentanyl for candy on Halloween, whether there were any reports to draw to hospitals, to doctors, to law enforcement, and the answer is none. And for that matter, of course, there wasn't a single overdose reported for this as well. And we would have heard about that because of obviously the implications, but that's not a child dying, a child overdosing. That's not something that's kept under wraps. That's something that's reported, and it should be. We need to know if something like that is happening. So anyways, that seems to kind of have been a myth that seems to have been debunked based upon the fact that it didn't happen for children during Halloween in terms of their trick-or-treating. Now, while we are discussing some of the myths around fentanyl, there is another myth that I do want to bring up, as well as to dispel. So, first of all, some people are being told that a person can overdose from touching fentanyl in a pill or in a powder. This is completely inaccurate. Those types of powders or pills are not absorbed through the skin. There are reports that there have been overdoses that have happened from touching doorknobs or dollar bills. Not a single one of those reports have been substantiated. Now, there are fentanyl patches, and they are put in a way similar to a nicotine patch where it's intended to get into the bloodstream. And this is something that should only be ordered by qualified physicians who are using it when there's no other options for chronic or serious pain available, and that this might help. Now, have there been people who have left their fentanyl patches laying around, or that a child has gotten a hold of, have touched it, it's gotten to their skin? And there's been a problem. Absolutely, that's happened. For that matter, there have been some kids who have even eaten the fentanyl patch that they found it, and that was a major, major problem. So anyways, my main point here is I'm not downplaying that fentanyl is not a problem. I'm not downplaying that it's not coming across the border. I'm downplaying that there's just not something that we need to be addressing seriously as a country. However, by stoking fears that are based on unfounded rumors, well, especially if they're just for political gain, it's irresponsible and it's dangerous to our society, and I'm calling on anybody who makes any kind of claims that are bogus, that are just for the purpose of fear-mongering, maybe to support their own point of view. Let's cut it out. Let's focus on the facts. Let's help everybody out. Thanks, and have a great day.
If you like what you have heard, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.